Hey guys, it's your girl Rennie and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be an in-depth video of my 10 best exercises to grow your legs and glutes. This is for my beginner girlies who are literally just starting out in the gym and are just looking to grow that peachy bum, that toned sexy thighs and don't know where to begin, right? But before we get started, if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, please do so right now and join the Fit Fam. So as a beginner, I always find it's very important to start with dumbbells before you progress up to barbells and such. And it's very important to start from simple to complex exercises and light to heavy. So what that means basically is simple to complex is movement patterns that start off simple with the goal of building functional strength as well as mastering the pattern before moving on to more complex variations, right? And light to heavy is basically just load resistance. So starting weights at a lighter resistance and then moving up to a heavier weight while you're learning the movement pattern. First exercise I'm going to be showing you is the dumbbell hip thrust. Again, as a beginner, I always suggest start with dumbbells and really master the posture and the movement properly before you move on to barbells. The hip thrust is one of the most common exercises to grow your glutes. This is very probably one of the first exercises I started when I started my fitness journey. And as always, it's also important to know your form, but also your leg position. With the hip thrust, if you're trying to target your glutes specifically, you want to make sure your feet are slightly behind your knees. And when you're going up and coming back, sorry, going down and coming back up, you're squeezing those glutes and holding them for at least a split second or two, right? So that's very, very important. And you just want to make sure both your feet are planted firmly on the ground to really activate those muscles. Now, I always like to supersell with a single leg hip thrust. I find this is one of those exercises that a lot of people sleep on. But when you combine a single leg hip thrust with a hip thrust, let me tell you guys, it's a game changer, right? Because it really isolates those glutes even furthermore and really gives it a bit more contraction. So again, you want to make sure your posture and your format is very important when doing this exercise. All right, so this next exercise is the goblet squat, which is a simplified version of a barbell squat. Like I mentioned earlier, as a beginner, you always want to make sure you start off with dumbbells, master your form properly before moving on to barbells, especially when you're really trying to progress towards barbell squats. The great thing with the goblet squat is you're actually able to really go heavy without putting too much pressure on your lower back, as opposed to doing a barbell squat, right? With this exercise, your form, it's important that your feet are slightly apart, your knees are facing outward slightly, your feet and heels, so your toes and heels are planted firmly into the ground, and your chest is facing up, not up, but just straight ahead, as well as your face is just straight ahead, right? This exercise is really, really great for stimulating your quads, but it's also great because it gives that extra boost of muscle contraction to your glutes, and it's an overall great exercise for your legs. By the way, guys, these exercises are in no particular order. These are just, in my opinion, the best exercises to grow your legs and glutes. Now, this exercise is a sumo squat. And let me tell you guys, if you do not have a sumo squat in your training program, add that to your training program because what it really does, it targets literally your entire lower body, your glutes, your hamstrings, your quads. Like it targets your inner thigh muscles more than like traditional squats, and also your hip flexors, your calves, like you literally feel it in your entire lower body muscles, right? Now, to make sure you have the perfect form with a sumo squat, you want to stand with your feet wider than shoulder width apart and your feet pointed out at a 45-degree angle. Your shoulders should be directly over your hips with a neutral head and neck position. So if you look at me right now, my face is looking downwards. That should not be the case. I should be looking straight ahead, right? This is such a great exercise for your lower body, guys. I kid you not. I kid you not. You can tell. Now, this next exercise is a split squat, and split squats are really great because they really improve lower body strength and they target your quads and glutes predominantly, right? And because they focus on one leg at a time, it really requires a lot more muscle focus and increases muscle activation, right? The great thing also with split squats is it's really great for increasing lower body mobility, also preventing imbalances. So let's say, for example, if your goal is to squat lower, be more flexible, and really get into those deep ranges, then you definitely want to add a split squat into your routine. Now, for the form, you want to make sure your chest is upright, your knees are past your toes, your front foot is flat. So I definitely recommend this to add to your workout routine if you're trying to grow your legs and glutes. So this next exercise is the dumbbell Romanian deadlift, and this exercise works your hamstrings, your glutes, and your lower back. Some of the benefits of this exercise is it increases glute and hamstring muscle mass, but it also you also get to learn proper hip mechanics, which is basically teaching you like the proper form of how to hinge at the hips, and this will in turn later help you to lift more weight in a safe manner. So to do this exercise in the proper form, you want to assume a standing position with your feet shoulder width apart and hold the dumbbells with your palms facing forward. You then want to engage your core, bring your shoulder blades together, and keep your chest held high. Now, with a slight bend in your knees, hinge at the waist, and with a straight back, you're going to lower the weights to the ground. So you should really feel a deep stretch in your hamstrings as your hips move backwards, basically when you're coming back up, which is basically engaging your hamstring muscles. This is a really great exercise for your glutes and your hamstrings, guys. So definitely include it in your training program for leg day. Okay, guys, so this next exercise is the reverse lunge. And this lunge is amazing because it works every muscle in your lower body. It works your quads, your hamstrings, your glutes, your abductors, and even your core. And some of the benefits of this exercise is it improves hip mobility and better balance. So when you're doing this exercise, you want to make sure your shoulders are down and you want to pull your shoulders down and back and then looking straight ahead. Obviously, brace your core. You want to take a large step back and then bend both legs, right? You lower your rear knee down to within an inch of the floor, and then you lean forward slightly at the hips and basically allow your front knee to travel slightly forward. Now, when doing this exercise, you want to make sure the weight you're holding is on the side where your leg is mobile, basically the leg that isn't moving. And pulling backward with your front leg and pushing lightly off your back leg, you're bringing your rear foot back in and standing back up, right? So you want to repeat this movement on the same leg and then move on to the other legs. This is a really great exercise for your entire lower body, guys. If you're gonna do legs, guys, make sure you incorporate calf raises into your workout. This is a no-brainer. You do not want to be, doing glute exercises, quad exercises, and neglecting your calves. But one of the really great benefits about doing calf raises, it really helps with protecting your Achilles tendon and your calf from injury. So you definitely want to include this in your training program as well. So next up is the curtsy lunge. I feel like this is one of those exercises that people really overlook, but it's such a great glute strengthening exercise. If you're not familiar with the curtsy lunge, it's basically a lunge variation. It basically targets your glutes, your quads, and your hamstrings. And you really want to add this to your leg day train split because it will really benefit you in helping you build bigger, fuller, and stronger glutes. And obviously, when you have stronger glutes, you're able to push more weight and lift heavier, right? So definitely recommend this in adding this to your program. Last but certainly not least is the dumbbell step ups. Listen, guys, I started doing this exercise last year, and within 3 to 4 weeks of doing this exercise, I saw such a massive difference in my quads and hamstrings. This exercise is not for the weak hearted. I'm not even lying. I still struggle to this day when doing it because of how much intensity it requires. But basically, it trains the muscles in your lower body. It helps eliminate your size and strength imbalances. But the great thing about this is such a great exercise for building single leg strength. Because it requires you to balance on one foot while stepping onto a box or platform, right? So this in turn helps improve your balance, your stability, and your coordination. You also want to make sure you're choosing a platform or box that is not too high or not too low. So obviously, the taller the box is, the more your hamstrings would be emphasized. Well, while the lower the box is, the more your quads would be emphasized. But I kid you not, guys, definitely incorporate this into your leg day because it is worth it. All right, guys, so that brings us to the end of this video. So for all these exercises that I've shown you guys, you want to make sure you're doing at least 4 sets and about 10 to 15 reps. These are exercises that really helped me grow my glutes when I first started my fitness journey. You can tell, videos don't lie, guys. But anyways, if you're still here at the end of this video, thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, please do so. And I'll see you guys in my next video.